Hey everybody, Steve here, and welcome back to day 7 of my journey into crypto, where I'm taking 30 days to learn everything I can about crypto so I can just learn how to navigate this crazy new world. So let's get into it for day 7. And this is going to be a week 1 recap of lessons learned. And I wasn't planning to do it this early, but I think it's necessary. I needed to gather my thoughts and I wanted to share my thinking process with you and also look back to what I did so far and how that's informing me what to do next. So here we go. Here's where we left off yesterday. And I was frustrated. I didn't make mistakes so much as I hit some big roadblocks, and I was just getting deep into it mentally where I knew I was going to actually set myself up for making a mistake where it would probably cost me money, but I was getting frustrated and I needed to do some research to figure things out. I was getting frustrated by terminology, and I knew I just had some big gaps in my knowledge, and I needed to take care of that at least to the next step. I know I'm not going to figure all this out in a day, but I wanted to just step away from it and try to understand more about what I didn't know. Also, just get this idea of understanding the clarity of buying crypto versus using crypto. And I think that's a big takeaway for me. My reflection here is buying crypto is relatively easy. It's no different from what I can see so far. And if you have an E-Trade account or Fidelity or some other financial institution where you buy and sell and trade stocks or bonds, mutual funds, things like that, it seems very straightforward. I also think if I'm on Binance and I'm doing things within their platform, then it's not complex. But I don't think that's the long-term goal of where I want to be because I'm stuck on their platform, working within their structures, their fees, their rules. So I want to be able to get out of there. That was my gateway into buying crypto, but I want to move out of there. This is where it gets challenging so far because the transaction cost for moving Ethereum is really difficult. It's prohibitive. And hold on to that. We'll get into that in a little bit later. So let's back up to yesterday, what I was trying to accomplish. Again, I had found this NFT on OpenSea.io that I liked. It wasn't too much money, and it was something that I knew I'd hold on to and I would never be disappointed because I like maps. So that's where we were. And the cost of it was roughly $10 US, 0.0025 ETH. And I was setting myself up to buy that. What I didn't really understand was I thought it was going to be a lot easier to just move some type of asset into my metamask wallet and then use that to buy something on OpenSea. I quickly realized, obviously, that I need Ethereum to do this because that's what you buy with. So that's a currency that's used on OpenSea.io. And not only did I need to get Ethereum, I need to get it in my MetaMask wallet. And just I'm put some notes up here to collect my thinking. So I was thinking that I need at least $20 worth of Ethereum in my wallet to do something productive. In order to buy this NFT, the Paris, France map, I needed $10.20, probably a little bit more for whatever transaction fees that would come up. That's where I hit this big gap. So I started exploring some options. I could buy ETH via OpenSea.io. That's the first thing I did. And as you saw in my previous video, that failed. The credit card transaction failed. So I still think that is probably going to be the easiest way to actually acquire Ethereum and have it in my wallet where I can access it, or just buy it where I can access it within OpenSea.io. But for whatever reason, the transaction failed. They would not use my credit card. So I think there's something deeper there, and I don't know if I can fix it. So number 2 was to buy Ethereum via MetaMask. So instead of trying to buy through OpenSea.io, there is an option within MetaMask where you can actually buy Ethereum. There's multiple different methods. I looked into all of these. Actually, one of them is directly deposit, but that's if you have it on a different network. But I tried looking into Wire and Transact. And I'll show you really quickly what I found out. And it did not work out. The fees were prohibitive. So using Transact, if I wanted to use a credit card payment or even a bank transfer, The minimum purchase was $30 US, and I would get this much ETH. But look how much they take in fees. And when you break it down, they have their own fee, which isn't that much, $1.65. And then there's a metamask fee, which is 30 cents, but there's $20 plus in network exchange fees. So this is what they call gas fees for doing any type of transaction on the Ethereum network. And that's huge. I mean, if you think about it, I'm trying to get $30 worth of Ethereum, and I'm going to pay 2/3 of that in transaction fees. It's just not practical at all. So that was another where I just said, no, I'm not going to go down that route. Then I started thinking, well, why don't I just buy Ethereum back on Binance where I started? Because that's easy. I can buy a one-time purchase of Ethereum, put $20 in or 50, doesn't matter. And I know how to do that. We went over that in the previous video. But here's where that breaks down, which is on the screen here, you can see that there is not only a minimum withdrawal, then they also have a withdrawal fee. And this is in terms of Ethereum. So what that breaks down to, I need to buy 0.0012 Ethereum to even have the ability to withdraw. That's a minimum amount they'll let me take out. So I'd have to spend $50 to buy that much Ethereum, which is fine. I can do that. But then, similar to the earlier example, the transaction fees to move that, withdraw it from Binance and move it over to my MetaMask wallet, that'd be an on-chain transaction. That's going to cost me $25 or 0.006 ETH. So that's the challenge I'm at. It's really difficult to move this asset around. So I can buy things with it once I get into my MetaMask wallet, but to do anything to get it there is very difficult. So here we go back to the big lessons learned, which is buying versus selling and using, or buying and selling versus using. And just like I mentioned earlier, buying and selling on the exchange is pretty normal, just like in real life trading stocks. But moving crypto, using crypto, at least with respect to Ethereum, it's expensive to handle. And there are huge network fees due to the architecture of Ethereum, how it's actually set up. And I've been looking into that. I understood that before going in, but I hadn't hit my head against it yet. So what I'm learning, which is to use it, is almost prohibitive to use it as currency. Just like we would go buy something at the store, just to get access to it is one thing, but then to be able to move it somewhere where you can actually use it, huge handling costs for that. So I need to figure that out. So those are my takeaways. I'm starting to look at this as, do I even need ETH as part of my goal? I started here because I thought this was going to be the easiest path. And if you remember, I wanted to buy and sell and make an NFT. And I thought it was going to be a good gateway to get into that world. I've been reading about it, listening to podcasts. I like this idea of being able to use a smart contract. And that's what makes NFTs possible. I thought this would be a pretty clear, straight path to getting into that world of using crypto to do things. But as you can see, it's just, the con is it's expensive to buy and use. So I'm going to kind of back up and examine what I need to do next to accomplish my big goal. So again, my priorities are, I don't want to be bound by a central exchange like Binance. So I got this picture over here on the right. You can see you can buy and sell, create NFTs on Binance, and that's fine. I'm not interested in that because I'm still on their platform, operating under their rules and their structure. And I think that's pretty straightforward. I want to get out of that. So I want to learn how to buy and sell, create NFTs on an open marketplace. So I'm going to look at other marketplaces besides OpenSea.io. And also, my other priority is, no matter how I do this, I want to be able to convert whatever crypto asset I have back to some form of liquid currency. So that implies I need to be able to understand how I'm moving crypto assets from an exchange like Binance to a wallet. And maybe I have to look at different wallets than just MetaMask because they don't support that many different crypto assets, and understand how that all works. And I think that's going to take me to a different level where it starts to click. So I'm going to look at, can I do this with an alternative to ETH? Or do I just need to suck it up and make a one-time purchase of ETH and pay the fees? So maybe buy $100 worth of it, pay whatever the transaction fees are, because again, this is a learning process and I'm paying for my own education. So to me, it's worth it. But that may need to be the way I go in order just to accomplish this goal and get my feet in the water to start doing some of the stuff. So I still need to get Ethereum. If I'm going to do my original plan, I still need to get Ethereum into my MetaMask wallet. If that's the only way to do it, then I need to figure that out. And that's where we are at the end of today. And I'll share where I get to tomorrow. All right. Thanks for joining me. And again, if you ever have any questions or comments or something you want to learn about, don't hesitate to leave in the comments and I'll see what I can do to answer them. All right. Take care.